Red Wings Live on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Arby's.
Helms right in and scores! A short-handed goal. Picking up a key 2 points here in Buffalo with a 3-1 win. Winston finds Datsuk. Shot! Scores! Pavel Datsuk wins it for the Red Wings with 2 2/10 to go in the game. Shan tonight was the shot. Scores! The Red Wings are going to win a third straight 5-2 the final. It's the shot. We score! It goes through and robs it in. It will be the hat trick for Zetterberg. The first NHL win for Thomas McCollum. White's back to slot. Scores! First NHL goal for Timu Pokkanen. Get him the puck. Red Wings win it. Final score 5-4. Sheehan in front of the goal. Weiss. Oh, and run by Luongo. Another shot. They score. Glendening. 5-4. The final score as the Red Wings have stretched their winning streak to 6.
6 wins in the last 6 games, the longest winning streak since January of 2012. Means the Red Wings are leading the way in the Atlantic Division, just a point above tonight's opponent, the Tampa Bay Lightning. So this matchup is bound to have hockey fans locked in as the Wings look to win for a 7th straight game. Welcome inside the comfy confines of our Southfield studios for this edition of Red Wings Live. I'm Trevor Thompson. Darren Elliott and Chris Osgood have braved the wintry conditions to be with you as well. And this type of matchup at this time of year has everyone saying, big game tonight. And guys, that is so for several reasons. What do you anticipate seeing tonight in Tampa, Darren?
Fast. Lots of pace, lots of aggressive play. Both teams looking to play well because Red Wings, 6 in a row as you just saw. Tampa, 8 in a row at home. Sets up for a great matchup.
Tampa Bay, very, very good home team, 19-4-1. Are really going to test the Red Wings' winning streak tonight. Special teams are going to be key. Tampa Bay's power play has struggled of late. Same with the Red Wings' penalty kill has struggled also of late. Something's got to break there. Hopefully the Red Wings' penalty kill will get on a roll again like it has been most of the season.
And guys, if it's a big game, you need a big presence on the scene. That must mean it's Keating time. He's on hand down in Tampa to bring us the very latest and joins us now. Hello, John.
Hello, Trev. Well, everybody nods in agreement. Doesn't matter in what sport it is, whether it's football or hockey or hopscotch. When you have 1 versus 2 in a division, the top 2 teams in the division, there's a little bit extra juice that's involved. The Wings win and the Lightning loss on Tuesday night allowed Detroit to leapfrog the Lightning into the top spot in the division and set the stage for a revamped 1 versus 2 tonight.
Good to be here. Obviously, you want to test yourself. We've won. We haven't played as good as we need to play. Ideally, this will get our attention and we'll get buckled down and play in the right way. You got to play right to have success night in, night out, and so we need to get our game back.
Are you surprised you're a first-place team right now?
Well, for sure. I mean, I've said this a number of times. If you'd asked me on July 5th where we'd be, I didn't think we'd be near where we're at. And, you know, people can tell you different, but all the experts said we weren't going to make the playoffs. And, you know, I thought ourselves we weren't sure. So we've had great growth on our team. Our team's been a team that's gotten better, and we got to keep getting better.
I think we're built the right way. We have very good systems, and we have guys willing to kind of execute it every night. And, you know, we've been around each other for so long, so we kind of know what to expect from each other. And like Bab said, like, at the very start of the year, like, we're a good team. We just got to keep proving it.
One change for the Wings. Thomas Jurko is back in. He's missed the last 8 with a sore back. He's in for Dan Cleary tonight. And this much we know, Trev, in this very big game here in Tampa, the pucks will remain fully inflated for the duration of tonight's tilt.
All right, thanks for that update, Keats. More from you a little bit later on in the show. He'll also be on hand to interview any Red Wing player who might net a hattie tonight. That's something you at home can benefit from as well, because if a Detroit player scores a hat trick in this game, you can bring a copy of the scoring summary to a participating Arby's location tomorrow for a free small order of curly fries. You can find that scoring summary in your newspaper or on the Red Wings page at foxsportsdetroit.com. Hockey fans know Steven Stamkos, but up next, we'll introduce you to the other guys you need to know in Tampa before the puck drops. That's next on Red Wings Live. Red Wings Live is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Well, with what he's done with this year's Red Wings team, Mike Babcock will be near the top of the list for the Jack Adams Award as Coach of the Year in the NHL. An award Babcock has never won, if you can believe that. But John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning, could spoil Babcock's party if the Lightning keep it up. Who is John Cooper, you say? Well, John Keating's glad you asked. He has more from Tampa on that. Keats?
Well, Trav, it happens to lots of folks, a career that we never saw coming. But John Cooper basically is living an impossibility. He had a career going in finance, and then he decided, well, maybe I want to go to law school and become a sports agent. He went to Cooley Law School in Lansing and was working as a public defender, making about $1,000 a month. Then the judge, Thomas Brennan, took Cooper under his wing a little bit. And as it turns out, Brennan's son was a hockey player at Lansing Catholic Central. The high school needed a hockey coach. And the rest is crazy hockey history.
The one thing, I guess, when I got into coaching way back in Lansing Catholic Central was I never looked. When I took that job, I took it for fun and hopefully have fun with a bunch of players, help them grow as human beings, win a few hockey games, and when they left after a year, they can sit back and say, you know, that was a fun year playing hockey. And it really, that's kind of been my philosophy all the way through. And to get to the NHL was not an end game future for myself. I was an attorney at the time, so I wasn't really looking that way, but as I grew with the game and as my career grew, naturally, now your goals start to change, and it's been one hell of a ride. It's been a lot of fun.
Was there a moment when you said, all right, I'm going to move away from lawyering or finance, and I'm going to make hockey my full-time commitment?
It was, I'd been coaching 4 years. I was practicing law. At this time, I was in Plymouth practicing, and Kelly Chase and Brett Hall were two instrumental guys that were starting a junior hockey team in the North American Hockey League in Texarkana, Texas, and they needed a coach. And my phone rang, and I guess in my younger days, I was still considered somewhat young then. I thought, you know what? Let's just throw caution to the wind and let's do this.
That's quite a story. Trev, you mentioned that Cooper and Babcock connection. They reached finalists for the Jack Adams Award last year, an award that was won by Patrick Waugh. But it all started with a suggestion to a guy who already had a job to perhaps try another one. And maybe there's a lesson in there for all of us. T?
Hopefully that doesn't mean you're looking for a job, John. We need you in the post-game edition of Red Wings Live.
I'm not saying nothing about that.
All right, then. We'll catch up with you in a little bit, John. Thanks for that. All right, let's bring Ozzie and Darren back in for our Xfinity look around the league. And a few names on that team may not be as well known as a guy like Steven Stamkos, but they're still having a huge impact in Tampa nonetheless this year, guys. Guys like Tyler Johnson, Nikita Kucherov, and Andre Palat. What are these guys bringing to the table, Darren?
Depth. They're the same thing. You look at Tatar and Nyquist and Sheahan. They came up from the American Hockey League ready to contribute. They weren't stars even coming into the league. Highest draft pick being Kucherov in the second round. Palat in 7th round. Johnson, a undersized free agent signing out of the Western Hockey League. And yet they are the glue that gives them that proverbial secondary scoring.
It really mirrors what the Red Wings do. Is these guys are the guys that played against the Griffins and Lear Lakes and Nyquist and Tatar and Sheahan's when they were in the Calder Cup final when Grand Rapids won, and these guys are very good players. I'm most impressed. These are young guys, 24. Kucherov is 21, and they're in the plus 20s. All three of these guys playing against top-line centers and other teams, second line, very good players. To be plus players at that age and still contributing offensively is very impressive.
And guys, they are having great seasons, but none of those guys, well, certainly all of those guys will have to go a long way to become household names, and they'll never earn a moniker like Mr. Hockey. Speaking of which, there is more new news on the legendary Red Wing hero. Gordie Howe and his family are planning to join other Canadian hockey royalty in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan on February the 6th in what is being billed as Howe's final public appearance ever. But that might not be accurate after all. For more, turn on to FoxSportsDetroit.com and log on to Keith Gabe's report on Mr. Hockey himself. Up next, Tonight's goalies are on two different sides of the spectrum. And we'll tell you why. That story's next on Red Wings Live, right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Stay tuned. Red Wings Live is brought to you by Flagstar Bank, a proud and official partner of the Detroit Red Wings. And by your Detroit area Honda dealers. Visit your Detroit area Honda dealers today. Go to DetroitHondaDealers.com. Welcome back inside the studio. The Wings and the Lightning coming at the bottom of the hour. And that's when the Wings will face Ben Bishop, the largest goalie in the league. He's so big, we had to give you a visual at home. This is to scale. Right there, Ben Bishop, 6'7", between two former NHL goaltenders, Chris Osgood and Darren Elliott. Guys, what do you think of his size?
Well, he's one of the reasons why my career ended when it did. When you're warming up on the red line there, you look across and these monsters are suddenly coming into the league, big guys, but they could move now. These guys are very athletic. Not only are they tall, we can see how much bigger he is than I am right there. But now with this new equipment, Darren, it makes him that much bigger, but this guy is athletic. If anything, if I was the Red Wings, I'd get him moving side to side tonight. He's not as good moving side to side. He's got a .911 save percentage. Good, but not great. But he's so big that now when he goes to his knees, his shoulders cover the top corners. And when I played, there's tons and tons of room up there if I was on my knees.
Ben Bishop didn't end my career, right? That all by myself. But Ben Bishop, when you're 6'7", you can play down and deep and still take away the top part of the net. The thing I like about Ben Bishop, look at how aggressive he plays. He's not just a puck blocker, he is a goaltender. 6'7", 5'7", doesn't matter, he plays the position.
Yeah, he certainly does. Peke Rene like a little bit, and this guy's a very good goalie. A big reason why Tampa is so big and big. Sorry, the pun.
At the other end of the rink, you're going to see Peter Mrazek, who isn't small by any means. The guy is 6'2", but they play different styles. Darren, explain what we'll see at the other end.
Well, he's 6'2", but he's a little bit of a blade. He's only 183 pounds, whereas Bishop on the other side is over 220. But he's very aggressive on all situations because he has to be. He reaches a little bit. He's a little bit more athletic, acrobatic, if you will. I think he reads the play better than Ben Bishop, but he's just learning the position. Don't forget, folks, he's just 22.
And I love talking with the players, they say in practice, they don't see any net because he may be 6'1", 6'2", right in that range, but he plays big. He plays aggressive. If you watch him play, he's out of the net. He plays big. He takes away time and space from the other player. So, to me, he might be a little smaller than Bishop, but he's aggressive and he plays big.
And guys, while we're on the topic of goaltenders, Martin Brodeur officially announced his retirement today from a pair of goalies to another, one of the best to ever do it. Your thoughts on how he affected the game?
Well, he was one of the guys that changed the way goalies played the puck, obviously. He's kind of old school. He was one of the few guys that didn't go with the huge jerseys, the huge pads, the bigger gloves, the bigger shoulder pads. He uses arm pads, I think, the majority of his career. And one of the guys, obviously, had a stellar career, tons of wins, near 700. I mean, that's never going to be broken. And where were the New Jersey Devil emblems behind him, though? St. Louis just didn't look right to me.
Didn't look right. Probably should have retired 2 seasons ago. Anyway, being a little bit gracious to him because he deserved better. He was a better goaltender than that, but he hung on a little bit too long.
And so as Martin Brodeur joins the business of hockey, we'll bring it to you officially by Walsh College. Brodeur joins the Blues front office staff now that he's officially retired. Congrats to a marvelous career, to one of the best ever to do it, according to the numbers, Martin Brodeur. Up next, Riley Sheahan has had quite a season for the Wings, including a 2-assist night the other night. We'll chat with him before puck drop in Tampa next.
If there were one attribute that put the name Pavel Datsyuk on the mind of every hockey fan in the world, it would be those magical hands.
To Datsyuk, what a move! Right in, scores! Wow. Oh, a Datsyukian deke, that's a beauty! Datsyuk, finds it Licky, scores! Oh, was that magic?
Weaving in between defenders' legs, picking a foe's pocket, winning crucial face-offs, pulling the puck behind his back, faking out a goalie with an impossible last-second deke. There's no weapon missing from Pavel Datsyuk's arsenal. All those skills were on display in Game 1 of last season's playoff matchup against the Boston Bruins.
Just 3 to play in the third. Datsyuk. Shooting! Scores! Pavel Datsyuk! 1-0 Detroit!
Datsuk's dynamic dexterity sits firmly at #1 on the Magic Man's 13 magical qualities.
That was part of our continuing series on Pavel Datsyuk, the Magic Man. And as a youngster in the league, who better to learn from than the likes of Datsyuk? I'm sure Riley Sheahan can attest to that. He's coming off a 2-point game and stopped by for a pregame chat with our John Keating back in Tampa.
Trev, thanks. 2 nights ago, the Sheahan, Glendening, Weiss line had 7 points. You found a little bit of magic, and you put your finger on why.
Can't really pinpoint it. I think just we complement each other pretty well and skate hard, and Glenny's in there on the forecheck, so it's good to get the puck back, and then Weiss does a great job of finishing, so it's fun to play with him.
Your coach has singled out your progress in your game this season. How different a player do you feel from where you were last January?
Yeah, I think I'm taking steps forward and just playing with some good players, learning from some experienced players, and just a little bit of confidence there too. So just a bunch of little things put together.
Is there a little bit of a playoff feel here tonight with 1 versus 2?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, they're an amazing team. They got a lot of skilled players, but so do we. So it'll definitely be a good game.
Riley, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Riley Sheahan's next goal will tie his total from a year ago. Trev?
All right, thanks, John, and stay tuned to Red Wings Live following the game, where we will select the Fox Sports Detroit Red Wings Player of the Game, presented by the single, double, and triple cheeseburgers from McDonald's. And if you thought Sheahan had a good game last game, when you add in the success of his line mates, it wasn't just good, it was fantastic. More on the Wings' new hottest line next. Welcome back to Red Wings Live. Trevor Thompson, Darren Elliott, and Chris Osgood at your service tonight. And guys, the newly formed combo of Riley Sheahan, Luke Glendening, and Stephen Weiss combined for 7 points the other night, 3 goals and 4 assists versus the Panthers. Why the success, Ozzy?
I'm going to start with who John Keating talked to, Riley Sheahan. This guy has improved immensely this year. He's gotten very good. I think if any player in the Red Wings, he's taken the most steps in making himself a better player as the seasons went along. He's enabled Mike Babcock some line combinations. His progression has allowed him to play Pavel Datsyuk and Henrik Zetterberg together. I think come playoff time, this guy is going to be huge if he continues on the path he is. If they can get him into that second slot and he can perform well, they can have Datsyuk, Zetterberg, and they can really change up the line matchups and really cause some nightmares for the other team, Darren.
The other thing is, Luke Glendening, he learned how to become a centerman, did that, made himself a National Hockey League player, and then the coach says, hey, we need you on the wing. So what does he do? He goes out and scores 2 goals, first ever multi-goal game, so he's done a really good job. And then Weiss, he's had moments this season where the puck goes in the net for him. Sheahan, as Ozzy said, he can get him the puck.
We look at Weiss, 17 points in 25 games, and we would not have guessed that. He's played very well. He has been streaky, but overall, when you look at his numbers, you have to be pleased.
And when you talk about points, 1 point separates these two teams. With top spot in the Atlantic Division on the line tonight, the Wings are looking for a 7th straight win. Meanwhile, the Bolts are going for a franchise best 9th straight win on home ice. Ken Daniels and Mickey Redmond are on the call tonight. Darren and Ozzy will be joined by Mickey York during the intermissions and for the post-game edition of Red Wings Live. Enjoy your night of Red Wing hockey here on Fox Sports Detroit, everybody. The Lightning and the Wings are next. I'm Trevor Thompson. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.